Hey, what's up? I'm Clara Park, and here's the food news for March 12th, 2009. In our top story today, Health Magazine's March issue features their list of the 10 healthiest fast food restaurants. No, apparently that's not an oxymoron, but I am assuming that it's a relative scale. Panera Bread, Jason's Deli, and Au Bon Pain top the list, but what's eyebrow-raising about this piece is McDonald's appearance in the number 8 slot. Subway isn't even on the list, and anyone with half a brain can order a rather healthy meal from there. Have we all forgotten about Jared? I wonder where the advertising revenue at Health Mag comes from. I love completely biased information passed off as well-researched insight. In the aftermath of tell-all books by former employees of Otto, Per Se, and Jean-Georges, famed chef and restaurateur Daniel Boulud is considering having his employees sign confidentiality agreements. I'm with you, chef. It makes me sick that people profit from airing other people's dirty laundry, or more specifically, make a ton of money by writing a ridiculously bad book with salacious celebrity gossip. I have one thing to say to these alleged authors. Get a life! Have you ever suffered through the messy and sometimes mood-ruining experience of trying to enjoy man's two greatest pleasures, beer and boobs, at the same time? Well, Casanova, things are about to get a little easier for you. You can now get edible beer pasties. I can only imagine how these little treats will elevate your next sensual experience to the next level. Try them all, including pale ale for redheads and extra stout if you like a little cushion for the pushin'. Check out this latest installment of food art by sculptor Tony Matelli. We're unsure if it's inspired by too much exposure to frat boys or an unhealthy love of Mr. Cutlets himself. The resemblance is uncanny.
Terroir is a French concept that has to do with the wine taking on the characteristics of where it's from. There's 3 major components that go into terroir: the soil it's grown in, the grape variety, and the climate. Other components could be the topography of the vineyard, the aspect of that vineyard to the sun, water drainage, and altitude. A good example of a wine that exhibits terroir is a Riesling from the Mosel region of Germany, because you can taste the slate soils that region is known for. You can also experience terroir in foods. Oysters from the East Coast are going to be different than oysters on the West Coast. You're not going to get a Jersey tomato from anywhere except New Jersey, just like you're not going to get a Bordeaux wine from Napa Valley. Listen, terroir is conducive to natural winemaking. It cannot be bought, it cannot be manufactured. However, it can be ruined by over-extracting and over-oaking. I hope you learned something today, and always remember, passion without pretension.
One time I wound up in a certain amount of trouble with the head chef of a restaurant I was working at, the Danube restaurant, which was a David Boulud, presently is a David Boulud restaurant, Austrian. We began to bring in a lot of whole animals, and were interested in breaking those animals down. So we began to bring down whole lambs and whole pigs from Vermont and various other locations, and eventually we developed a separate facility from the Danube to handle all the carcasses. And it was my job in the middle afternoon to cross Duane Street from the actual restaurant and go over to the kind of meat holding facility and pick out the carcasses that I wanted to work with that day, and then return them to the restaurant like a sack or something. I would just kind of sling these carcasses over my shoulder so I could be seen, walking across the street in midday with 2 pigs and a lamb hanging off my back, which I thought really showed my my oneness with the product. And this went on for a number of weeks, and slowly but surely all the people that lived in the neighborhood got unpleasantly familiar with seeing the midday transfer of these animals, and so they began to call the restaurant. And one day when I was kind of just about to cross the street and bring all my animals back over to the restaurant, Chef Boulud called me into the office and told me I would have to come up with a different transportation plan for my mise en place for that day.